It began like any other night in San Juan, humid air clinging to the streets, neon lights flickering through plumes of car exhaust, the steady thump of reggaeton spilling out of every corner bar. But then, mid-chorus during his surprise rooftop set, BadBunny, a Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, watched as the sky above him cracked like a glass windshield under cosmic pressure. Purple fissures ripping through the heavens with a low, pulsing hum that rattled bones and shattered champagne flutes. And for a frozen heartbeat, the crowd thought it was part of the show until screaming broke the beat and otherworldly creatures began slipping through the seams of reality like ink in water, eight-limbed shadows with shimmering skin that rippled with colors no human had names for, their forms pulsing in sync with some hideous rhythm only they could hear. And as panic surged through the crowd, Benito's mind split between disbelief and a weird, almost instinctive clarity, like he'd always known. This day might come, like every beat he'd ever dropped was preparing him for something more than sold-out tours and Grammys. And while people fled down stairwells and phone cameras shook wildly trying to capture the impossible, he stood rooted, heart jackhammering against his ribs, sweat dripping down his temples not from fear but from the magnitude of the moment, the way the universe had tilted on its axis and now pointed directly at him. He remembered stories whispered by his abuela about vibrations and ancient rhythms, how music could bend space and scare away demons if played with the right soul. And as the invaders slithered and skittered closer, disrupting radio signals and frying street lamps with their unnatural aura, he grabbed the mic with a trembling hand and screamed for his DJ, El Tercer Ojo, a conspiracy-obsessed audio engineer with a pirate radio background and a knack for building illegal subwoofers that could shatter concrete, to crank the BPM to a level not sanctioned by any terrestrial government. And in that moment of pure, cosmic madness, with chaos erupting across Puerto Rico and possibly the world, with civilians ducking behind food trucks and security guards dropping their radios to pray, BadBunny took a defiant step forward, shades glinting in the swirling alien light, jaw clenched and voice steady as he muttered, "Vamos a bailar, cabrons." Not to his fans, not to his team, but to the interdimensional horrors now invading his world. Because if reality was glitching and the universe wanted a fight, it had just challenged the wrong Pareo god, and somewhere deep beneath the island, old dormant frequencies began to stir, ancient beats waiting to be dropped once more as a war unlike any other began, not with bullets or bombs, but with rhythm. As the frenetic beats faded into a tense silence punctuated only by distant sirens and the eerie hum of the ruptured sky, Benito, El Tercer Ojo, and a small cadre of loyal crew found themselves grappling with the staggering truth that their world had irrevocably shifted, their initial adrenaline-fueled defiance now tempered by the overwhelming realization that the reggaeton frequencies that had once brought joy and unity were the very weapons, and perhaps the only hope, against an enemy beyond human comprehension. And yet, as they retreated to a makeshift underground studio where flickering monitors cast ghostly glows on sweat-streaked faces, their minds churned with a torrent of questions. Were these invaders drawn to the island's vibrant culture or something deeper, some primal resonance hidden within the music's pulsing core? Could their beats truly bend dimensions, or were they flirting with forces far too volatile to control? Determined to understand the phenomenon rather than simply react, Benito began digging into folklore passed down by Puerto Rican elders, stories of sound as a sacred force, while El Tercer Ojo hacked into global radio networks, scanning for otherworldly anomalies and intercepted cryptic signals that hinted at a larger, interdimensional agenda, all the while wrestling with gnawing doubts that maybe their music was less a shield and more a beacon, drawing darkness closer with every bass drop. Physical threats surged as sporadic bursts of alien interference fried circuits, collapsing street infrastructure and sowing paranoia among the populace, forcing the team to navigate a city on edge, where neighbors eyed one another with suspicion and government agents moved like shadows, blocking access to key data and silencing journalists who dared ask the wrong questions. Amidst this growing chaos, a mysterious figure emerged from the fringes, Isabel, a brilliant but enigmatic sound engineer with a rebellious past and an obsession with sonic anomalies, whose motives were as cryptic as the frequencies she claimed could communicate with the invaders themselves, making her both a vital ally and a wild card. challenging Benito's leadership and forcing him to confront his own insecurities about control and trust in a world unraveling at the seams. Emotional stakes soared as Benito grappled with the crushing weight of expectation, the eyes of millions fixed on him as a symbol of resistance, even as he wrestled privately with fear, exhaustion, and a creeping sense of isolation that came with bearing a burden no one else could fully understand. The rhythmic heartbeat of reggaeton, now a fragile lifeline connecting him to humanity and hope, every new discovery only deepened the mystery. Encrypted messages hidden in melody lines, cryptic patterns in dance movements that seemed to repel or summon the invaders, and unsettling shifts in the urban soundscape that hinted at an impending crescendo of conflict, propelling them forward into an uncertain future where every choice felt like a step deeper into an uncharted dimension, the stakes mounting with every bass pulse and every shadow that flickered at the edge of perception, promising that the true battle was only just beginning and that the fate of not just Puerto Rico but reality itself depended on their ability to harness the raw power of music and spirit against an enemy unlike any the world had ever faced. Under the flickering neon haze of their underground command center, where tangled cables hummed with barely contained energy and the scent of rain-soaked concrete seeped through cracked walls, Benito, El Tercer Ojo, and Isabel locked eyes in a rare moment of solemn stillness, the weight of everything they had endured compressing time itself as the horizon of their cosmic battle loomed nearer and more inevitable than the rising dawn outside. They pored over data streams and soundwave schematics, their fingers trembling not just from fatigue but from the enormous responsibility they carried, the entire island's fate, the very fabric of reality hanging on their ability to synchronize the perfect frequency, a symphony of rebellion against the alien invaders whose shimmering, undulating forms now fully revealed themselves as not mere beasts but entities born of sonic distortion, feeding off chaotic noise and disruption but surprisingly vulnerable to pure, harmonious vibrations rooted in reggaeton's heartbeat, the primal rhythm that once united streets and souls, now a weapon of cosmic resistance. Emotionally, Benito wrestled with the burden of leadership, grappling with imposter syndrome and the deep fear that a single misstep could doom millions, while Isabel's enigmatic brilliance sparked both hope and tension, her cryptic warnings about resonance collapse hinting at the delicate balance between salvation and destruction, and El Tercer Ojo's relentless technical genius pushed the team to the edge, forging makeshift sonic amplifiers powered by scavenged tech and sheer willpower. As they calibrated their arsenal, each beat, each bass drop, was meticulously crafted to exploit the invaders' weakness, a narrow frequency window that could destabilize their interdimensional presence but at a tremendous risk, for overamplification might tear open a rift far worse than the invasion itself. This final preparation phase was a crucible of trust and desperation, as the trio made heart-wrenching choices about who would stay in the control hub and who would take the dangerous front lines where soundwaves collided with alien matter, all while Puerto Rico held its breath, citizens barricading themselves indoors, unaware that their salvation or annihilation depended on the vibrations transmitted through the very air they breathed. In this charged calm before the storm, moments were stolen for whispered confessions, steadying breaths, and silent prayers, Benito's signature tattoos seeming to pulse with newfound life as if the island itself was rallying behind him, Isabel sharing a rare, vulnerable smile that belied her usual inscrutability, and El Tercer Ojo cracking a rare grin, the smallest flicker of hope in a night fraught with uncertainty. With systems primed and frequencies locked, they faced a final choice: to launch a full-scale sonic assault that could obliterate the invaders but risk permanent damage to the city and possibly themselves, or to attempt a risky harmonic convergence designed to sever the invaders' link to their home dimension and banish them with minimal collateral, a gamble that required perfect timing and unshakable faith in the power of music and human spirit. As the first tendrils of alien sound warped the horizon, the tension snapped taut like a high-pitched note hanging in the air, everything balanced on the edge of a frequency, an epic crescendo where destiny would be rewritten by the clash of bass and cosmic chaos. And in this breathless moment, the future waited, trembling on the beat of a song that only the boldest could dare to play. The moment the first wave of interdimensional invaders crashed over the city like a sonic tsunami, the air vibrating with the otherworldly frequencies that warped space itself. Benito, Isabel, and El Tercer Ojo stood resolute in the heart of their sonic fortress, the pounding reggaeton beats rising in a fierce crescendo as if the island's soul itself was summoned to battle. The confrontation was nothing short of apocalyptic, a clash of raw sound and cosmic terror where every note, every bass drop, became a weapon in a war that defied comprehension, threatening not just their lives but the very fabric of reality. And as the alien forms twisted and howled in pain, their unnatural rhythms struggling to withstand the human-made harmonies, the trio's physical and emotional limits were pushed beyond breaking, sweat and tears mixing with the electric hum of their equipment as they sacrificed sleep, safety, and sanity for a shot at salvation. Benito's voice cracked but never faltered, his body moving with an energy that blurred the lines between performer and warrior, channeling years of music, culture, and unyielding spirit into a sonic assault so fierce it echoed through the dimensions, while Isabel manipulated frequencies with a surgical precision born of obsession and brilliance, her usual guarded demeanor shattered by the urgency of their cause, and El Tercer Ojo tirelessly tuned and retuned their makeshift arsenal, knowing one wrong adjustment could collapse their last chance. The defining moment came when the invaders unleashed a devastating counterwave, a psychic blast aimed directly at Benito's mind, forcing him to confront not just the physical threat but a maelstrom of fears, his doubts about leadership, the cost of defying fate, the faces of those depending on him flashing before his eyes. And in that crucible of pain and determination, Benito pushed through, transforming anguish into an unstoppable rhythm that shattered the counterattack and sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks, tipping the battle in their favor. The aftermath was a surreal silence, the sky slowly knitting back together as the alien presence receded, leaving a battered but triumphant Puerto Rico standing as a testament to human resilience and the transcendent power of music. Forever changed, Benito emerged not just as a cultural icon but a symbol of unity and defiance, his voice forever carrying the echoes of that battle. Isabel found peace in knowing her genius had saved countless lives despite the heavy cost to her psyche, and El Tercer Ojo embraced a newfound purpose beyond underground waves, while the island itself seemed to pulse with a renewed life, its people forever bonded by the shared ordeal and the unforgettable night when reggaeton became the heartbeat of survival. The consequences rippled globally, inspiring a renaissance of sound-based resistance and a deeper understanding of the cosmic mysteries that lurk just beyond perception, forever altering the course of history and the way humanity viewed its place in the universe. As this epic saga draws to a close, remember that every great story needs a witness. So if you felt the vibration of this tale in your soul, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned, because the next adventure is just a beat away, ready to pull you into worlds where music isn't just entertainment, but the very force that shapes reality itself.